Hello sculpture students, Mr. Shaver here. I'm making a video today to show you how to make your very own Repousse decorated box. This project uses a few different techniques that are fun to use but will also be helpful for other projects. So we're going to combine some things. First, Repousse. I've had another video on that, but we have this special kind of Repousse metal. It's kind of like a thick foil, but you can press it out and make it 3D and get some really cool 3D designs with it. So I thought about just instead of just doing that more of a 2D thing, we can combine it and make it more of a 3D thing. You can also use it, sorry, got real close there. Another student made this mask using kind of the Repousse, so you can see what it's like using it in full 3D. So we're going to combine some techniques. So one of the first things you will need to do is you will need to make a template. You need to come up with the size of your box. So this box here that I made uses a 5x3x3 template. Okay. If you want to go a little bit smaller, you can do a 4x2x2 box, and it looks like this. So I'm going to use this one a little bit later. So it's much smaller, not as much room for design. I wouldn't go smaller than this. I would count this as your minimum, and I wouldn't go too much bigger than this either. Somewhere in between those is good. You can make more of a square one if you want, but those are good sizes. Between 3 and 5 inches would be good. Okay, so first thing you're going to do, right, is I said that you need to make your template. So I have my template here. If you want, you can measure out like the bottom square and then measure out the sides. I would keep it like this instead of cutting it in pieces because it's easier to put the box together if we just fold this up. So then I took this piece, my template, okay, and if you struggle with this, I can help you, and I traced it onto a piece of cardboard. Ta-da! Now I got my cardboard. You can see also where I've drawn my lines, okay? The next thing you're going to do in order to make this into a box is we're going to use our X-Acto knives, okay, very carefully, and we're going to score the cardboard. We're not trying to cut all the way through the cardboard. So if you look at the cardboard, it's kind of 3D, right? It's got a couple layers. There's the first paper layer, there is the kind of zigzag paper layer, and then there's the next piece of paper. So this one's kind of just that one section. The original box I used kind of had two, but we're not trying to cut through the entire piece of cardboard. So I'm going to lower my camera here so you can see what I'm doing a little bit easier. There we go. So if I'm just trying to fold this up, okay, I just want to be able to fold this. I'm just going to cut through the very first layer of paper. You don't have to press too hard. Let the knife do its job. Notice that I'm not putting my fingers behind it when I'm cutting the X-Acto knife. Okay. You do not, again, don't press too hard. If you cut through it, we can tape it back on. It's not a huge deal, but this is a nice method to use to build with cardboard. So now that I've cut just through that first paper part, I can actually fold the cardboard into my box. Ta-da! I got a box, okay? This doesn't need to be anything crazy. We don't need to do any crazier construction than this because we're going to add on to this. So the next thing to do, very easy because we're going to cover the box up, is I'm just going to tape the sides. All right? Now you could spend a whole bunch of time trying to hot glue it. And actually on the box that I made, I hot glued the inside corners, which you could choose to do or not do depending on how much you want your box to be solid. Like you can kind of see where I hot glued the inside corners. But again, that's kind of up to you. It's not 100% necessary, but it's an option. So I'm just going to do this really fast so I can get to the next part. I'm going to skip a couple parts because you don't need to see them. You can just do them on your own. Okay. So here, I have my box. Now what I would do is I'd probably go around and just make sure all the parts are taped up. Like I would probably tape up here, and I would tape up here. And again, you could glue the inside of the box. Just make the box fairly solid. The next step from here, okay, very quick and easy step, and you can do this with acrylic paint or spray paint. It doesn't matter. As I spray painted mine, it's just to spray paint the box. Now, you don't really need to spray paint the sides because we're going to cover them up, but the bottom and the inside, if you want to paint the bottom and the inside, you can do some designs if you want, but just to change the color of the cardboard. Unless you like the look of the cardboard, totally up to you. But you would want to do this next step, the painting, before we do anything else. So let's pretend that we've painted this box. And you go, okay, we've got the Repousse. How are we going to turn it into and make it like a design on a box, right? What do we do? So I originally had my template, right? I saved this. And then with my original, I actually cut it into pieces, right? And then I used these pieces to sketch on. So I created my design on these pieces, right? So the next thing you're going to do is create your sketch, your design. I did kind of a earth, wind, fire, water sort of thing, like an elements thing. So I got my wind and my sun and my rain, and then the mountains to like represent earth, okay? And then you go, okay, so now that I have my sketch done, we're kind of fast forwarding through this, right? Took your template, cut it, now you have your sketches done. What do I do to get this Repousse onto the box? Well, instead of cutting a piece of metal to fit this exact thing, right, you actually want to create a little space on the sides and on the top. If you create some space on the sides and on the top, then what you can do is when you put it on your box, you can actually wrap it around the side and wrap it over the top. So I traced this on to a piece of this metal, okay, and I left myself a little bit of room. Once I did that, I then traced this piece onto that metal, so I had two, because I know I need two of these, all right? Now, I'm going to do a very fast, very quick design, just to kind of show the process very briefly, because I have other videos on doing the Repousse, just so you can kind of see what this process is. So let's come down here a little bit. Now I have my stack of paper here. Okay, if I want the design to kind of be on this side or the silver side, it doesn't matter. You can use the silver or the copper side. Totally up to you. But let's say I'm just going to do like a simple like leaf. Okay, so I'm going to draw my leaf. Now you can mark the Repousse metal with anything. I have some tools you can use. Right now I'm just using the end of this mechanical pencil. Okay, now I want this leaf design to pop out a little bit. So I can even use the end of this X-Acto knife and I can just color with it. So really anything will do it. If you apply enough pressure with your finger, it'll do it. Like I said, we've got different tools. I'm going to keep this part of this demo really fast though. Alright, so now the leaf is popping out. I can go back and chase it and then maybe draw some of my leaf lines in there just for fun. Okay, so now here's my design. This is going on the side of my box. You'll notice up here I put two little squares, alright, where the kind of sides and the top meet. I'm going to cut those out. Now you can do this now. You might notice it as you start measuring it to fit your box. Okay, but I would just do this ahead of time. So what you'll see is with this size piece of paper, right, it matches up. So like this side's going to fold, this side's going to fold, this side's going to fold. They're going to fold around your box, okay? So I have my design. I'm ready to put it on my painted box. We're pretending this is painted. Now I have my hot glue. Now here's the one part where you need to be careful. I have some rags in the classroom. You can use paper towel. You can use the ends of some scissors to kind of help you a little bit. But the hot glue will dissipate the heat in this foil very quickly, so it will heat up fast, okay? The metal will get hot quickly, okay? So you want to work fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue onto the side of my box where I'm going to put this thing first. Now I'm not worried too much about it all. I'm going to make sure I get some on the sides, the edges, okay, and along the top. We can always add some glue after you put it on there to the flaps. Okay, now I'm going to try and line this up, but again, once I get it on there, I'm going to press it. Okay, very good. And then I can fold it around the sides a little bit. Now again, it's warm, but if you kind of line it up and do it quickly, you won't get burned. You'll be totally fine. But you see how I'm kind of pressing and letting go, press and let go. Ta-da. Okay? So now it's folded along the sides. You can see where I cut along the top to leave some room for the cardboard. It's got an edge on the inside. I could put a little more glue there if I wanted to. It's probably just fine. And then by able to fold it around, we don't have to worry about filling in the gaps later. The metal will wrap all the way around. And then you can have something closer to this, depending on what designs you want to do. Okay? So we're learning the templates. We're using the Repousse. We're adding onto the Repousse around the box, and then you can use the box for really anything. So we're combining some skills here that we'll be able to use later. And that's it. So hopefully that explains it, and I'll see you guys next time.